Good evening, everyone. We have the creator
Welcome.
of that here on our broadcast tonight. Down here, Thomas is the one who created our intro there, so appreciate that. It's a good little intro.
Good job.
So,
I think it's the first time I got to see that. It's the first time I got to see that intro because I'm always late to these things.
You don't watch the videos?
Yeah, it's pretty. No, I watch them, but I'm always late, so I just kind of skip forward, see what I miss, and then
he don't love
it was
us.
good. It was good.
Yeah. Why is it good? Because it showed your giant that you caught in there, right? We showcased you like 3 different times.
No, it's good because he made the music to it, and there's no way I can make the music to it. I'd be horrible at making music, but
What do you have to do to get into that video?
Provide a picture.
I think when they originally did it, they gave me a bunch of pictures that the community had sent in, and then I went searching for people who had videos, and I was like, you possibly want to do it? And I got 3 responses, or 2, I guess. One was Chris and one was Buzz. I'm like, all right, well, if you got anything cool, send it to me, I'll throw it in there, so we're not just looking at stills.
Great
B-roll. Yeah, we got a couple. I think we got quite a few more anglers in our club now that video, or they do like video our YouTube stuff too. So we can next year we can make it a little bit different. But yeah, it's good. I like it. I enjoy it. It's a good opening. We need to get a legit video or music for our club though. What's our theme song? We need to come up with a cool theme song.
Come up with some stuff and send it to me if you want something.
No, it's good. I think I see back there behind Chris Mitchell. I see his check. Okay, we got Nathaniel's checks back there. That's going to be his headboard in a little. By the end of the year, Nathan's going to have like 6 of those checks back there.
This is the guest bed. This is what everybody that comes to visit gets to see.
The wife wouldn't let you put him in your room?
No.
I heard that. Well, I think we got 11 people on watching now. Y'all drop in the comment section below. Say hi. We got Nicholas, Dave, Todd, and Paul on there. And Will just hopped on. So, heck yeah. Today we're just going to do a quick Rodman recap. Well, that has a good buzz to it. We're doing a Rodman recap. So we got our top 3 anglers here. And then we're going to go over some of the guys that are leaving this week to go fish the KBF Ambassador Series Championship in Huntsville too. So we'll talk a little bit about that once we finish up, kind of talking to these guys and moving on to the end of the show. So yeah, Todd, if you want, you can go ahead and kind of introduce these individuals, and then we'll talk.
All right. Well, welcome on to the show tonight, guys. We'll kind of have the little format similar to like what we had last week. We'll go start off at 3rd, 2nd, and then 1st, and just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself. And I thought another one that would be good to throw in is how did you get into kayak bass fishing? How did you wind up getting into this sport? And then you kind of tell us a little bit about your day on Rodman, and did you do any pre-fishing or did you go in blind? Had you fished it before? Those kind of things. And, tell us a little bit about your day. And then I've got one special little question I want to ask each of you after you're done with that. So, Nathaniel?
Right.
Do you want to take it and tell us a little bit about yourself, and how you got into kayak bass fishing?
So I'm not originally from Central or South Florida or anything, this area. I'm up from the Pensacola area, and growing up, I had access to farm ponds and stuff. That's where I learned how to bass fish. But like, I don't think I ever caught like anything over 15 inches until like I came down here. So, but I grew up with fishing. My family's got a place on the Choctawhatchee River that we go to. So kind of like fishing's been in my life from day one. So when I got old enough to have adult money, I decided I wanted to try getting into some sort of boat fishing. And I went to a pawn shop in Pensacola, and I got a $400 West Marine Tarpon 120 kayak. and that's how I got started in kayak fishing.
Cool.
It was that little guy, and I mainly just did saltwater stuff because I was in the Pensacola area up there. Yeah, I took it freshwater a few times, caught a couple bass, but mainly just wanted to catch some sea trout and redfish and that sort of stuff with it. But after a while, I was like, college kind of caught up to me. I didn't really have a whole lot of time to go kayak fishing, so I sold that kayak. And after a little while there, I finally got my first big boy job out of college, and I decided I wanted another kayak to fish out of, and I got a Hobie Compass. And shortly after that, my girlfriend at the time graduated from college, and she moved down here to she moved down to the West Palm area, back to her folks. And I decided to pack up and follow her down here. And about that time, I figured out that there was a club called SoFlo Kayak Fishing, and Randy Newton headed that up. And I went to one of their events out on the Everglades and caught probably 30 Oscars that day and one bass. And with a little group that we had there, probably 8 or 9 people, ended up placing second in the tournament technically because only 2 people caught bass. Everybody else was just catching Oscars, it seemed like. And so that's kind of where I got started in competitive kayak fishing. The bug had taken off at that point. And then I did one of their other tournaments. It was the Snakehead tournament out in forget what town that is. It's like west of Boca or something. And I didn't actually catch a snakehead, but I caught like 5 bass that day. So it was kind of odd, switch it up. Actually can't catch the target species, it seems like. And then I think after that, that's whenever they started up the kayaking in Florida, and I went out to one of their fun fish things on Lake Toho, and I did okay at that. That was my first real competitive bass fishing tournament. Did fine. And then after that, I decided, maybe I didn't want to kayak fish as much anymore, and I decided to sell my compass and get a solo skiff. And I got the solo skiff and did a lot of saltwater fishing. It was pretty neat to take it out around like the West Palm area and the intercoastal and that sort of stuff. But after the pandemic started up, didn't feel like going out in the solo skiff much anymore. So I got back into getting a kayak, and I got a Hobie Outback, and that's where I'm at now. So I've been doing, we moved out to Texas for a year, and I really learned how to slow down and take my time, especially when breaking down a lake, because those lakes out there are just way different than what we fish here. There's actually water depth and structure, so you have to find that stuff. But yeah, that's sort of how my kayak career has progressed along. I think I seem to be doing pretty good so far since I've moved back. I've won a couple of Slay Nation tournaments, and then placed in this one. So, and also fourth place in the Trail 1 tournament for the KBF. So.
Ooh, awesome. Well, have you ever fished Rodman before?
I never fished Rodman before.
Did you do any pre-fishing on it?
Sorry?
Did you do any pre-fishing on it?
Nope.
No, went in blind. That's awesome.
Went in blind. It's funny, the past couple of tournaments that I've done really well at, I have not pre-fished at all. So the ones that I do pre-fish at, I haven't done well, like Toho. But yeah, it's a very interesting lake. It reminded me a lot of the lake I fished in Texas. So that's kind of what I did. I copied my pattern that I had at that lake in Texas, and it started off pretty rough. I didn't catch a fish until 10:30, and that's when I decided to tie this little guy on, a Rapala BX Brat, the deep model. I noticed everybody was kind of throwing a crankbait or a jerkbait, and I figured they've probably seen a million jerkbaits out in that stump field. And so I was like, I need something that's a little different. It's got a little different action. I can still work it like a jerkbait if I need to. And it doesn't really suspend. It moves up and down. And that was kind of like my thought process. So I tied this on, and sure enough, is like 10 minutes after I tied it on, I got my first bite, and that was a 17 3/4, I think. That was my biggest fish of the day, so I knew something was working there. And like I said, at 10:30, that was my first fish, and then within an hour, I had my limit, all
Nice.
on this guy and a super spook.
Nice.
But yeah, it's very very interesting. I wouldn't have thought they would have gone after a silent bait, but the more I thought about it, the more I think that they probably see 1,000 rattle traps and rattle and jerk baits and crankbaits and that sort of stuff. So maybe something that's a little different kind of set them off. And then after that, the wind died completely, and after that, I was not getting any bites at all on the crankbait. So I decided I would try to go back to punching, since there was so much good-looking stuff out there to punch. I went off to, I guess, the south side of the lake, but that main part south of the stump field. And I'd seen people fishing out there. I really didn't think much about it, but I went out there and I found these like weeds. I don't know what they're called. They kind of splay out from the shoreline, and they form like a really shallow mat on the surface of the water. And every now and then you'd see a little hole in them. So I went to punch in the black and blue bandito bug in those holes, and every now and then something would pick it up, and I would, I just thought maybe it was a brim or something. And every now and then I just, kind of just give it a light tug, and it would pull back. And that's whenever I would set the hook, and I caught another 17, a couple 16s, and I think a 15 or something like that. And those were my kicker fish. They basically got me up there. I think I wasn't keeping a close eye on the leaderboard. I try not to do that, just keep myself from freaking out. But yeah, I think at one point I was up a second, and then Chris Mitchell passed me whenever he caught that like 22 or whatever it was. And it's funny is he caught it on the same worm I started with that morning. So I guess the pattern shifted or something.
Nice. Well, last question for you here is, what is your favorite snack out on the water?
Honestly, I don't eat a lot when I'm out on the water. But I do like, I guess, peanut butter crackers. I find them to be pretty easy to, consume while you're fishing. You just kind of pop one in, start eating it, and then you can still keep fishing. Whereas I know some people, like I met a guy in Texas, he would stop at whatever sandwich shop was open at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't remember which ones were, but he would have a foot-long Subway sub, and he'd like lay out a napkin, eat that sub, and pop a drink and have some chips and other stuff. I was like, I can't do that. I can't eat a full meal out on the water like that.
I'm with you. I've eaten many of the peanut butter crackers out on the water there for sure. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations. Well deserved. And I know it was tough for a lot of us out there, but y'all really pulled through and showed us how to do it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So this next person, I guess, does not need any introduction here. Mr. Mitchell, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into kayak fishing.
Okay. Well, I've always been into fishing, just like a lot of these guys here. From a young age, just watched Bassmasters on ESPN as I don't know, for a long time, and I've always wanted to be a professional fisherman, so that was my thing. Got into the boat, like the FLW co-angler stuff, the BFL stuff like that, trying to get my feet wet and kind of the boat stuff. Found out really quickly that I didn't like being in the back of the boat and tournaments because I can't control what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So just time went on. The price of owning a boat got expensive, and I looked into a kayak because that's about the same time KBF started kind of popping off. And so I looked into getting a kayak because it was cheaper. my first kayak was a Bonafide SS127, and then I've had like numerous other kayaks between that and the one I have now, which is the Hobie the PA12 360 with the motor on it, of course, because that's what I like using. But yeah, so pretty much like the cost of things, it was just a lot easier on the wallet, and at the same time, I kind of fell in love with it and just enjoyed being out on the kayak. Sometimes by myself, sometimes with friends like Sean and Chris and a bunch of these other guys that we fish with. So it's just really cool that everybody gets together like that. So that's pretty much how I got into kayak fishing. And yeah, I could talk about Rodman if you want.
Yeah, so I know you have actually fished Rodman before because I did see your YouTube videos on it.
Yeah, that was about 2 years ago when KF, and Tom is over there smiling because I have to give him credit because he's the one that kind of dialed me in. Not really dialed me in, but kind of clued me in on what section of the lake to fish. And he couldn't make the tournament the 2 years ago because of stuff. But yeah, he helped me 2 years ago, and then I went to pre-fish it 2 weeks ago before the tournament just to see what's going on out there. I tried different spots. I didn't like anything, so I just went straight back to where Thomas suggested, and I knew I was going to see him there. And when I was pre-fishing, I only caught three little ones, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to cross my fingers and just hope that the fish like kind of move in or something changes. So on tournament day, I knew I was going to see Thomas there. And once I did, I started kind of skirting the outside edge of it to try a little bit something else on the outside edge of it, trying to give him room for his area, I don't know. But yeah, so pre-fishing was okay, I guess. I mean, didn't really show anything, but crossed my fingers. It worked, kind of, I guess.
Excellent. Well, tell us about your day out on the water. What you were using, how you got started with, any of the good stuff, juice that you can give us.
I started out the day with a kind of like a Zara Spook style bait. It was like a Berkeley something. I don't know what it was, but tried that first thing in the morning. I had one hit on it. I didn't have anything else after that one hit. Then I just went straight to a jerk bait, and the jerk bait I had was the 6 cents Provoke. It's the 106 deep diving one. And I like the deep divers because I feel like I have a lot more action with those than the shallow ones. I got my limit pretty quick, about 8 o'clock, 8:30 or something like that. Got a limit. It was a small limit, but it made me feel better that I caught 5 instead of just 3. And then once that bite started to slow down, that's when I switched over to the speed worm, and pretty much just stuck with the speed worm for the rest of the day. I'd switch to the jerk bait every once in a while, but it was the speed worm that pretty much did most of the upgrading. Most of the upgrade fish are around the grass too, and not the stumps. All my smaller fish came from the stumps. But yeah, the jerkbait bite, like Nathan was talking about, how all those fish might have seen the jerkbait a lot. I think they do, because when I was working it, I would have to let it sit there and pause for at least like 5 seconds before something just come up and just take it. So they weren't sure, if they wanted it or not. It was kind of a hesitation bite sometimes, but yeah, that's pretty much my day. It's just all the upgrade fish came from the grass with the speed worm.
Nice. So what's your favorite snack out on the water?
It changes. Mainly the Uncrustables, peanut butter and jelly. Those are just easy to eat. That and Little Debbie donuts. Those are good.
I think Bailey's got you tied on the Uncrustables.
Yeah,
No, that's what he was snacking on out there.
they're so easy and they're good.
There's a question that popped up. What color jerkbait?
I have no idea. It's like a shad color. I don't know. If you go to my Instagram, Chris M Fishing, you can see on my last post I have there. You'll see the color. If you comment what's the color of the jerkbait, I can just answer you back. But you'll see the color there in that second slide.
It was me.
Oh,
Shameless plug though. Shameless plug. We'll put
Yeah,
your
well.
we'll put your thing in the comment section though.
There you go. And after we get done here, after Thomas, we'll go around and let you guys shout out your sponsors or anybody you want to thank and all that good stuff if you want to. Well, excellent job. Good job out there on the water. And how did it feel to be back in your PA?
Oh man, I'm just so grateful for Dave Myers for selling it back to me. You know, I didn't know what I was gonna do because the Outback wasn't doing it for me, and I was trying to figure out things, and I complained enough on our page to get his attention, I guess, and say, hey, do you want to buy this back? So I'm grateful for that. And yeah, I mean, some people might see the motor being a kind of a cheating thing, but it's the way I like to fish and coming from a boat and everything. So
Hey,
it's
legal.
Yeah.
It's legal. As long as it's legal, it's not cheating.
True.
Right. So
That's what they say about live
congratulations.
scope.
All
Here,
right.
Dave responded to you, Chris.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. That was my plan the whole time, actually. So it kind of worked. But now I gotta go knit him a sweater or something because he got me a ball of yarn. So I gotta knit
Get him
him
a-
like a
Did
scarf.
you get any new sponsors in the yarn?
No,
Well-
nobody's reached out. So I'm still looking for a yarn sponsor. I mean, I'll do segments on my channel of like how to knit or how to crochet a scarf or something, you know.
What
Some gloves.
about bait savers, like bait protectors? Can you do that?
I don't think that worked very well. The hooks might have a bad problem.
Speaking of yarn, I saw it first yesterday. Somebody has knitted a spare tire cover for the back of their car, out of yarn.
Nice. Keeping that tire warm.
Yeah,
Hey,
like it.
spare
keeping it
tires on
warm.
your kayak trailer. There you go, Mitchell.
There you go.
Or you can knit a kayak cover.
Yeah, but until it gets wet, I don't know about that.
It'll be all right.
No doubt. All right, Mr. Woodring, tell us about
Welcome
yourself.
back.
I know we all heard this last week, but for some of those that weren't on or didn't see the show, if you don't mind, just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into kayak fishing.
So, like I said last week, I'm originally from central Pennsylvania. So I grew up there fishing trout, and then my grandfather got me into bass fishing, and we fished the Susquehanna for smallies a lot. And then moved down here for grad school. Ended up staying here. Have a family now, so this is a place I've always wanted to fish. And when I first started working the job that I work now, I had promised my son, I was like, "We'll get some fishing poles. I'll take you fishing like my dad took me." And he didn't let me forget about it. So we started from bank beating at first. And then I think I was just combing through YouTube because YouTube, I'd seen some people fishing on YouTube, and that made me want to do it again. And I think I came across a video that Greg Blanchard did where he was fishing some private pond, but it was like a 30 kayak tournament on a private pond, best three. And I was like, wait a minute, they got these kayaks that fish in tournaments. So I started looking that up, and I found like KBF and stuff, and I ended up buying a Pelican Catch 100, which is in my garage right now. I cleaned it up. I'm going to end up selling that. That was my first kayak. First tournament I ever fished was with the kayak anglers at Florida when they did the Tackle Toho. I think it's Tackle Toho 2 is the second year doing it. I took third place. think Josh Mercer finished first, and Nicholas Beltran took second. I've got the third place frame up here on the wall, and yeah, then it just became a problem after that because I started joining more and more stuff, and that's where I'm at now.
It gets expensive.
Yeah,
For sure. It's addictive. So I'm sure you fished Rodman before.
I fished it once. I fished
Okay.
it once 2 years ago when the KAF was going to have the Sunshine State Trail event there. And like Chris said, like I kind of let him know, like, hey, you should go here, check this out, try this. Because I wasn't going to make the tournament. I was leading Angler of the Year up to that point, but I wasn't going to be able to make that tournament because the week prior to the tournament, my father-in-law passed away. So I didn't get a chance to finish it or fish it. And when it popped up again this year, I was like, man, I got to go fish it. I've always wanted to fish Rodman, especially competitively. I've read about this place when I was a kid, saw like Bassmaster specials on. I was like, I want to go fish Rodman. So I didn't get to pre-fish it. So I went up there and launched and like, oh man, I hope this pattern from 2 years ago holds. And it did. So I was pretty happy with
Sweet.
that.
What's the odds of a pattern holding for 2 years?
I mean,
But
50,
what
50,
was your
doesn't.
pattern then? Tell us what your pattern was.
So the pattern was because this lake sets up. I look at this lake in three sections. You have lower lake down by the dam, you have the mid lake, and then you have the mouth of the river. And water clarity is different in all three places, and the structure is different too. The pattern that I found that worked was just working wood the entire day, but in deeper water, anywhere from 6 to 10 feet. Fish just seemed to be isolated on that because I couldn't. When I was out there prior in the area I was fishing, I didn't find a lot of grass. There wasn't a lot of offshore stuff, but there was timber. And the shoreline stuff wasn't working out for me. There were a lot of small fish there, but in some places there really wasn't any structure for them to kind of hide on. So it was just, you would be throwing up at the bank where it's a few inches deep, and then about 10 feet out, it dropped to 9-10 feet, and nothing was hanging on that drop off. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Let me go fish where out in the deeper stuff where they at least have some cover and stuff to kind of hang out by. So it was really just working the lumber all day and fishing it really slow. A lot of times I would take a worm and I would throw it directly into like a stump and let it hit the stump and then just drop to the bottom. And I was talking with Buddy, and I think for some of these fish, they hear something hit the stump or they feel the vibration, and then seeing it hit the water and drift all the way down to the bottom might have been enough for them to be like, oh, I want to eat that. And it worked. That's what I did all day. I changed tactics once to go look at a shaded bank, and I spent like 10 minutes there. I was like, no, this ain't it. And then I went right back out to the deeper stuff and fished that. But I had to fish it slow because the morning I started out on 2 isolated stumps that I was like, man, I'm pretty sure there's a fish there. The way that it's kind of set up, I threw a spook in between it. I threw a chatterbait. I threw a fluke, and I worked it multiple times past these 2 stumps, different variations. Nothing. So I decided, okay, well, I'm just going to throw a worm over there and dead stick it. So I threw it over, let it sit for about 20 seconds, wound up, line was tight, and it was swimming off to the side. So I set the hook, and I replicated that pattern again like 10 minutes later. And I'm like, look, this is going to be boring, but this is probably what I need to do. And that's what I focused on all day.
Wow. Congrats to you to being able to sit there and do that. I have no patience to sit and do that. I can't sit still long enough. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations. And what is your favorite snack on the water?
I usually have granola bars with me. Unlike Nathaniel and some other people, I'm really terrible about eating and stuff on the water because my adrenaline's kicked in so much. I'm so focused on fishing that sometimes I'll also forget to drink. So I'll set like an alarm for every 30 minutes, make sure I take a couple sips of water. Otherwise, I end up with a screaming headache by the end of the day. But I usually have either chocolate chip granola bars with me, or I'll have something a little bit heavier, like a peanut trail mix with a dark chocolate coating. So at least I get something kind of heavy with some sugar in it that gives me enough energy at least to get back to the boat ramp.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, I'm kind of the same way. I'll take a big bag of food with me and always forget to eat it, and at the end of the day, I'm like, man, why am I so hungry? And I have to make myself drink water and different things. So for sure. Bailey, what is your food for on the water?
Probably my biggest, I eat the little Uncrustable things. I got that from Mitchell. I was like, man, I'm starving. I'm like, what can I do? And the Uncrustables were like a lifesaver because I I wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning to go, wherever we're going to be fishing before sun up. So I was like, can't really make too much noise in the house. So I was like, those Uncrustables come in clutch, but my snack would be between that and then the High Chew candies, like the High Chew, the fruit flavored, like natural flavored candies. They're like Starburst, but they're like the healthy kind. I'll have High Chews and just drinks and Little Debbie's.
Sour Patch Kids.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so those aren't always for me. I give those for all of you guys. I do have Sour Patch Kids out there. If you open my front hatch of my Hobie PA-14, it's like a snack fund. It's like a grocery store. People use that for their baits and stuff. That's my storage hatch for my cooler and all my snacks. I'm not catching fish, as you guys can tell. So
are you wacky rigging those little Sour Patch worms out there?
I probably should at this point. At this point, I need to do anything to catch fish. But no, Little Debbie's were my thing. But I'm getting away from them slowly, just because they melt really quick in the hatch of a Hobie. So
you got to put them in the cooler, man. Put them in the cooler.
No,
put them in a Ziploc bag in the cooler.
I have to prioritize my cooler space. It goes water. I have one soda, like a sugary thing, for my way back to the boat ramp. I'll have one of those just to kind of replenish if I have a headache or something. But it's water, and then a Gatorade or whatever, or a Red Bull, and then
3 Busch Lights.
No, God, no. I don't drink beer when I'm out on the kayak. But I have like 4 or 6 peanut butter jelly things, the Uncrustables. I demolished those things.
What is your food of choice?
I discovered a new one. So I was in Palatka. I think after it was like Thursday or Friday, I was in Palatka after taking a break on Rodman, and walked in the Winn-Dixie of all places because Walmart was a little bit too trashy for me until Bailey got there and we walked right in there. But so Winn-Dixie has this peanut butter dark chocolate trail mix. Generally, trail mix is my go-to on the water. Or Uncrustables is another one. But I have to eat like every hour on the hour. I have to eat, or I get hungry. I burn through calories like it's going out of style. So between a Monster, Copenhagen, and trail mix, that's how I survive on the water. Copenhagen being the number 1, and Monster's second, and then trail mix is third. So
that's awesome.
That's the life of Sean Spears on the water.
I understand that totally. Combos is a good one. I like combos.
We have AOI, the leader of AOI, commenting. Let's all.
It's talking smack. It's not commenting. It's talking smack right now.
Nettie, we all know you're going to lose that number 1 spot when Woodring wins. It's Sapoga. So you might want to back off.
Ooh.
Look, I fished
the trash talk has started.
I fished just Sapoga twice in tournaments. I've cashed a check once. The other time I was 1 fish away from a check, but it's because I made a last-minute run that I should have made in the morning. But I did get big bass for that tournament.
Y'all got to watch out for Mr. Harrelson here. It's his backyard. He's a stick, so just saying.
What's his address? Poke a hole in that kayak.
I'm not putting that out there, but all I'm saying, he's won one event as well, so don't count him out of the running as well. So he won the Claremont chain. So
just go follow Daryl around and fish his water.
Dave Phil says try Cougar, half the price.
That's definitely Todd's recommendation. Oh yeah, Copenhagen. Yeah, moving to Florida.
Says I'm only talking smack because I'm scared.
Yeah, moving to Florida and buying Copenhagen, it doesn't go well together. What is it, like $9.50 a can? My one bad habit.
So that's the next question. So we have Lake Apopka. That's the Open. That's on the 25th. So that's not this weekend, but next. So that obviously doesn't go towards AOY or anything, but there's some big fish. I know was G's been out there fishing. He's caught some good fish out there. A couple other folks that I've reached out to have mentioned that the big fish are biting. But in Sapoga, Mitchell, you did pretty good out there. during the KFL match, right? Not too long ago.
Yeah, that was during the summer. It's a completely different lake now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll have to pre-fish it and see what's going on. But yeah, I have an idea, but I don't know if it's going to do anything. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well, come to find out, you don't have to pre-fish to get a check.
True.
Will Gresham said he eats oranges. And then I don't know why Robert Phil says, and I'm being quiet. But I don't know why he's being quiet. So we'll
let's give a big shout out to those guys that are going to the ambassador representing the club.
So this week we did have Nathan was going to be going, but unfortunately with work and stuff, he's not going to be able to make it. So we actually have Lloyd Hardy, Robert Phillips, John Fox, and John Fox's brother, who is going to be going up to Alabama. I think they're leaving like Wednesday or Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. And they're going to go up there and represent our club at a chance to win. Is it $20,000 for the team championship for the KBF ambassador championship, and then it automatically got them into the individual, which is a chance at winning $5,000. So they could be bringing home some serious money if they go up there and put the hammer down. I know that they're going to have an opportunity to catch some big fish. So yeah, make sure you guys take some pictures, share them to our Facebook page. We'll go ahead and have you guys on next week's show to kind of do like a recap of your experience up at Gunnersville. And what's the other lake that they're going to be fishing? It's Gunnersville, and there's another lake, I forgot it.
Is it Wheeler?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Drop in the comment section, Robert, what the other lake is.
They're all right there together.
Yeah, but they're going to be camping out there. It's going to be a
Wilson.
cool opportunity. So I'm looking forward to seeing how well they do, and hopefully we can bring home a dub for the club. So that'd be awesome.
A dub for the club.
Dub for the club, yes, sir.
Man, you're rhyming today. You're on a roll.
I'm pretty good. Not gonna lie. I mean, Thomas, I'll get with you afterwards. I can rap a little bit.
No promises.
Yeah. I'll be putting down the beat.
Some dub in the club.
It can't be any worse than the Kayak Bass Nation intro.
Which one's that? They got their own rap. I'm pretty sure, right? They made a rap.
It's pretty cringy.
I won't let it get that bad. I promise you.
Hey, that's awesome though. But no, I'm super excited. We're gonna post something on our Facebook page. We got a little digital banner for those guys. Make sure that whenever you guys go up there, just share some pictures with us, and we'll post them on our page to kind of keep everyone in the club up to date. But hopefully next year we can send more than one team up there to represent the club and have a better chance at winning $20,000. So I think next year it's obviously it might be somewhere a little closer to home, so might be able to send a little bit more people there. So, but yeah, that's all I got for that. That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, one of my little tips on food for the kayak is the little veiny sausages in the hot sauce.
Oh my God! Here we go.
Those are awesome.
Mitchell, what are you doing?
They stay fresh until you crack them open.
Mitchell, I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the secret?
What's secret?
What's the secret to a healthy life and a happy life?
Fishing.
That's right. That's
an
an easy one, Mitchell. You
got me there.
Come on now. You got to be happy. Y'all were just talking about it. When we're out on the water, we have a good time, right? That's the main thing.
I think that conversation was after I left.
Oh,
I don't remember that conversation.
When we're out on the water, and I mean, you guys can post this in the comment. I know that I've been struggling recently, right? So like when I'm out there on the water, like I got pretty frustrated on Rodman, right? I got extremely frustrated actually. And
I had a manatee following you all day. I would be frustrated too.
I had 3 manatees follow me all day. Thomas, like I don't know if you've seen them, Thomas, but they came in hot, and they would not leave me alone for a good 2.5 hours. But no, that's not the reason that I was upset. I couldn't catch a fish, but everybody around me was catching fish. Let me tell you a story. All day I was fishing within casting distance to Todd. The dude is just straight catching them on a rattle trap. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm throwing the same bait. Can't catch them. Right? I caught all my fish I caught one on a rattle trap and then one on a frog. Then I leave because I'm frustrated. I'm like, I did not even know. I didn't know anyone was over here. I went over and I ran into Thomas. I didn't know that it was Thomas off the get-go, or I wouldn't have even fished there. But I pull into the spot fishing. All I hear is splashes. Thomas just straight. He caught like 5 or 6 fish in about 20 minutes of me being in there. And I'm like, I'm sitting there trying to do this. I'm like, all day, everyone around me was catching fish.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah. This morning, or not this morning, but that morning, all I hear is his catch board just dingling off the side
it's
of
the
kayak.
metal dingling.
And I'm just like, like every 2 seconds I hear ding, and then he put those fish in, and then another 2 seconds later, I'm like, what is going on?
I swear he has a metal catch board for that reason, because it echoes across the water. I'm not lying to you. He is silent because he'll net the fish pretty quietly, but you'll hear the ding, 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 ding. Like he makes sure that catch board hits every surface of his kayak. So he has a fish. And then he like silently takes his picture, puts it in, you hear him put it away, makes a couple more casts, ding, 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 ding. I'm like, I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? And then what happens? I lost the 3 fish. I couldn't get them in the boat. Chris Mitchell crosses Thomas. Chris Mitchell comes over there. What do I hear? Splashing. I'm like, he's catching fish. I'm like, what am I doing? So I leave. I literally put my rod back in my pole, and I just head back to the boat ramp. And then across the lake, I hear 2 other guys in a boat that are fishing with shiners where I was just fishing. Fish on! Fish, screaming fish on for like 15 minutes straight. I'm like, everyone around me's catching fish, but yet I can't. And I'm like, okay, a lot of things are going on in my head. Then on Sunday, we go fishing. Everybody around me is catching fish except for me. I didn't even get a bite. I don't think a fish even sniffled my bait all day.
And you're just everybody else's good luck charm.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
the way
pretty
you
sure
should
I
look
am.
at it.
And Robert Phillips, the dude over there, he gave me the juice. And yet he's like, I told you what to do. And I'm like, well, yeah, you tell me what to do. And he's like, I just caught a 22 here. And like sends me a picture of it. And I'm just like, okay, really? I'm like, and you can hear from across the water. He's like, do you hear the trumpets off the back? There's some dude playing trumpets on the bank at Rodman for hours. He's like, you hear the trumpets? I'm just like, yeah, that's not my sound. I'm like, I'm not catching anything. So I left. And then we were in a good spot. Todd and I were in a really good spot first thing in the morning. There was thousands of bait fish just all over the water. Bass were blowing up left and right. Soon as 6:30 came around, I was like, oh, it's gonna be a quick limit. As soon as 6:30 came around, nothing. Gone. They turned off, right, Todd? It was like a switch.
I mean, as soon as the clock hit 6:30, it was dead. Silent.
You saw some gar kind of surface a little bit, and I was like, I'm not going to sit here and waste my time with that. But Robert says it was taps for me. For those of you that don't know, that's pretty much like signifying like the end. So yeah. So yeah, Evan, we're gonna get to talk and come hang out with you. I need a good rebound weekend. So do you guys have a spot where we can go to kind of have a quick rebound? I need it. No, Sean, absolutely not. We're not going to your rebound spot. So yeah, that's all I got. I'll shut up. I'll stop bickering about my inability to fish. So
I'll be there Saturday morning.
And Mitchell, oh God, he's going to get his bat. Sit back down, Mitchell.
I can't sit for long.
Well, we'll go around the horn and we'll start with first place and go around and let y'all thank whoever you would like to thank, your sponsors, whoever helps you out in the fishing world.
Okay. Well, one, thank my wife for allowing me to do it. Obviously, big supporter. So the kids. Also, thanks to Greg over at mondosfishing.com for sponsoring my season, helping me out with a couple things. We're looking at a couple tournaments, so we'll see what happens coming up. But appreciate his support for this season. It's been good.
Excellent. And throw out your social media if you want to put that out there so people can follow along with you.
Yeah, as long as my tournament isn't terrible, I post a video. I usually post one once a week on Saturdays. So that's T Woodring Fishing at both on Instagram and on YouTube if you want to check me out there.
Drop that in the comment section too, so they can follow it, give it a like, subscribe. And if you guys have tournaments or stuff that you guys are going to participate in or want to do some of that like awareness, drop it in on our Facebook page too, and let's spread that throughout our community so we can get some more participation across the state.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say that you and Chris, I enjoy watching y'all's YouTubes. Have helped me out a lot. Just trying to learn how to fish here in Florida because it's totally different from where I'm from. So it's helped me tremendously. So thank both of y'all for that. Mitchell, you got anyone you want to thank and shout out any of your social?
Yeah. Thank Kayaks by Bows here in Titusville for hooking me up with such a great Hobie, and 6 Cents with their jerkbait, because that's probably like one of the best jerkbaits I've used besides the Rapala Shadow Wrap, which is this one. I like both of them, but 6 Cents has a good color that Rapala doesn't have the right colors like sometimes. So that, and the Yak rods for having a good rod that helped me get this fish landed. I was having a hard time trying to find a good worm rod, and the Yak rod has good parabolic bend and stuff to it, so you want to go check those out. And then my socials is, for YouTube, it's Chris Fishing. You can check all my videos there. I try to post as much as I can. It's been kind of slacking lately, but I'm getting back on track. And then Instagram, those are the two main ones I use. So Instagram's Chris M Fishing, and you can just keep up with my day-to-day stuff on there.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Nathan, how about you? You got anybody you want to thank?
Well, of course, my wife. She's my biggest supporter by far. Never a complaint when I say, hey, I want to go out fishing this weekend. You're like, okay, well, go ahead. So always works out great.
Nice.
I had 0 sponsors. I tried to do the pro staff stuff a while back, and I got burned by Woo Tungsten, so kind of like didn't want to play that game anymore. But yeah, I recently just started up my Instagram again. I took a pretty lengthy hiatus from Instagram, kind of just got off social media for a little while there, but I want to try to get back on Instagram and kind of post any kind of tournament info and stuff on there. It's Nathaniel Holly Fishing. And then I think eventually maybe I'll get a camera and I'll start doing some stuff, but I'll let you guys know when that happens.
Excellent. Well, again, congratulations, guys. Y'all killed it. And hopefully one of these days I'll be in y'all's seat.
Wait a minute, but who's going to do the interview if you get a first, second, or third? Are you going to interview yourself?
We'll bring one of these guys in, let them do
it. Fair enough.
I'll ask him some tough questions. Don't worry.
I'll do it. I volunteer.
We'll have Mitchell do it. All right, Mitchell, you got it. Starring Chris Mitchell.
I got plans.
All right.
There you go.
Well, guys, we appreciate you guys coming on, sharing some knowledge again, spreading, what you guys did out there, your game plan, giving those that, might have struggled out there a little bit of insight for any future tournaments and things that are coming along in other events. So we appreciate your time, coming out here and hanging out with us away from your family. So thank you. What are you eating, Doritos? Mitchell. So we appreciate you guys again. Thank you. Good luck. Are y'all planning on fishing in Tapoga? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I got to beat Benetti, right?
Yeah, right.
Ooh,
so
there we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
Mitchell, if you don't mind, drop yours in the Facebook or in the comment section below too, so folks can give you a like and follow, subscribe to your stuff. We appreciate it again. We look forward to seeing y'all at Instapoga. Hopefully you guys can make it out to Lake Apopka to show some love and support to our sponsors and to some of our future club members, hopefully. That's the whole point of that Lake Apopka event, is to bring more awareness to our club. So, y'all hear that?
Yeah, it's Chris.
Oh my God. Do I sound like that? I'm going to shut up. But yeah, no, you guys are more than welcome to kind of either stay on or you guys can back out. We're going to go in a little bit more detail on the Lake Apopka event and some upcoming stuff. But yeah, we appreciate your guys' time and look forward to seeing y'all next weekend or at Lake Instapoga. So,
All right.
thanks,
guys.
guys.
Congratulations.
Yep,
Congrats,
congrats
Jim.
again. Congrats.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye,
Oh,
Mitchell.
I'm busy. Hold on.
Okay.
What?
No, nothing.
Are we doing something?
You can stay on if you want.
I removed them and then. All right, we got your YouTube and Instagram down there at the bottom. So, all right, see you later, Mitchell.
Where am I going?
I'm removing you from the screen. Oh, he is something else. Chris
You
Mitchell
can
is
just
something
hang out back
else.
there and wait.
Yeah, we'll keep him in the background for the after party of the after show. But no, real quick, what is our time at right now? What are we at? How long we been
51
on?
51.
Right, so we don't want to keep it on there too long, but we do have some business to kind of go over. Lake Apopka again is registration is open on Fishing Chaos. I will share the registration for that on our Facebook page. It is shareable, so make sure that you share that on your social media pages. Anywhere, just we're trying to get members to come out and or non FKBT members to come out and participate in this event. It's going to be 100% payout minus whatever the operating cost is for the checks and stuff that we have to purchase for the event. Or no, we're not purchasing checks, are we, Todd? We're doing we're going to do certificates for this event just to keep the cost down, so more money can be put in the angler's pocket. So that's the plan right now. The last time I looked, we only had I'll look right now, but I'm pretty sure we only had one angler signed up, and that was my buddy has signed up. I plan on signing up, and I know there's a couple others that kind of wait till the last minute. But if we don't get a minimum of at least 25 people to show up, we're not gonna be able to host the event. We'll do it, but we'll host the event, but we're not going to have Van Hunks come out there. There's a lot of moving parts to have Van Hunks come out there and set up their tents and all their kayaks to where it'll be worth. We can ask them if they still want to come, but we're pretty much it's just going to be like a Calcutta. Come there, you'll fish. We'll still have a meetup and everything like we normally would. It'll just be like a fun fishing tournament. But the whole point of this is to pretty much get our club out there to the community. For those that might be interested in fishing in a kayak club, but doesn't really know how it works and kind of give them the information, they could, yes, it's been posted pretty much everywhere on social media. It's been open. Registration has been open for almost a month now. You guys can share it, post it. It's been Van Hunks posted about it. It's been in a couple bait shops as well. So in the Lakeland area. But yeah, definitely. If someone needs a kayak, there's plenty of anglers in our club that have an extra kayak. So definitely, we can do that if we need to. Okay, Evan said he'll be there, just making sure the wind isn't blowing 30 plus. Yeah, so we're gonna sit down and we'll make the call middle of next week around Wednesday on if they're still, if we don't have over 20 anglers signed up, we're gonna have to make the call, and then we'll still have the event. We'll have to get in contact with Van Hunks and see if they're still interested in doing it. I'm giving them a call tomorrow to kind of give them a heads up on that. But yeah, there's gonna be some changes to the opens that we're gonna do next year. There'll be more to follow on that. But our goal is to have opens throughout the season and into the off season. So there's a lot more to come on that and what that looks like. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be we're going to try some concepts to see how it goes in the off season and see about implementing them into the actual regular trail series as well. So it should be fun. Todd has brought in a lot of good, not examples, but good ideas, coupled with Sean and a couple other of our anglers that have really, said, hey, this is what I think would be fun and what I think would be interesting and challenging. We're listening to you guys, and we're trying to make this a fun trail and a fun club to where we can have a good time out on the water. Because if we're not having fun and not enjoying what we're doing, what's the point behind it? I know this weekend I was not having fun, and I kind of sat down and kind of self-reflected the past couple of days, and I'm like, I need to get back to having fun and not just being so serious all the time. And so that's a goal that I'm making for myself. If you find yourself struggling to catch a limit, just sit back and kind of think about it and why you're doing this, right? Figure out the why and relax a little bit. Don't put so much stress behind it, and hopefully that'll turn into catching more fish and having more fun out on the water.
Because having fun and fellowship.
Exactly, the fun and fellowship. That what we did after the event for an hour and a half talking with everybody is what it's all about, in my opinion. And you're talking, you're creating that friendship, right? Not really knowing one another, but we literally sat at the boat ramp for a good hour and a half, even after the awards were handed out, and we were still talking until almost 6 o'clock. Lines out was at 3, and we didn't leave the boat ramp until after 6, right, Sean?
Yeah, it was about that time. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's what we're there
later.
for. Yeah, that's what we're there for. Talking, getting to know how we can do things better, and really, what is behind Sean? I don't know. No, there's a
that thing right there.
The
stuffed animal behind you.
Oh, that?
They're like seals.
Squishmallows that my kids make me buy them all the time. But
So,
that thing right there, I used it not too long ago. That's a smoker, electric smoker.
Oh, so am I.
yeah.
You didn't use it in the house, did you?
No. No, only when I want everybody else to come on. Hey, hide it.
Chris.
Hi, Molly.
Get that off of there.
No, but for sure, yeah, it's always good seeing everybody afterwards, or even interacting with people on the water. It's always a good time. And I definitely enjoy talking with people. I'm always listening. Now, I may not be talking a lot afterwards, but I'm always listening to see what everybody's doing. Because
I was going to say, Sean actually even talked to me this time on the water.
Yeah. I mean, I was catching fish. My execution was poor on about 7 or 8, and I landed 3. Kind of got my head out of my 4th point of contact finally in the past 3 tournaments, and like Bailey was saying, like I tell him all the time, like you go through slumps and waves, or you're on them. Like I was on them in practice. It was just I went to all the spots where they were at in practice, and like there was a shiner boat right on my spot, and so I backed off of them. I started fishing. I caught like a 15 right off the bat, and the shiner boat like ripped like 5 out of the water in like 5 minutes. And I was like, all right, I'm out. I'm out. And I actually what I did was I tied on a big 8-inch shiner swim bait that I have and started slinging that thing around, and for about a half an hour. Then I threw it on a Dips 250 through a big bait, and I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I don't even have a limit yet. And I went and caught like 2 real quick in another spot, then went out to the main lake and started flirting around wood, and I lost a few here and there. So poor execution, but I think I cleared it up the next day on Sunday and got back into my good old rhythm.
Sean was just around like 90 inches, over 90 inches on Sunday.
Yeah, I think I just cracked like 92 on Sunday. So on a tough day too, because it wasn't easy. Like
92 inches in an hour and a half window.
Yeah, because Mitchell caught that 5.5 right off the bat.
First thing in the morning,
yeah.
Well,
I didn't get a bite. I didn't get a bite for like 6 hours, and then it was just all madness for about an hour and a half, and then it went quiet again. Well, I think we could have wore them out pretty good if we stayed till dark.
Oh yeah, I probably would have caught a couple if I waited till
Oh
dark.
yeah, because they were seemed like they were moving up into that spot, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So I see a couple folks on here. We're talking about they're going to be signing up next week. I appreciate it. Just when I comment, I'm going to drop a comment or a post on our Facebook page. If you plan on fishing it, leave a comment below so I can get a tally, an estimate of how many people plan to fish the Lake Apopka event, just so that we can make accommodations. Because again, we got to purchase some food, some burgers and stuff of that nature that we're going to be doing out there. After that event we are going to be grilling out at the park there. It's going to be one boat launch, one ramp, and we're going to all launch and we're going to come back to that ramp. So please drop a comment on there, and so we can get a head count. But that's pretty much all I have for the Lake Apopka Open. And then only the next couple things that we wanted to hit was the kayak cushions are in. I gave quite a few of them to the rightful owners at the Rodman event. If you weren't able to make the Rodman event, and I still have your kayak cushion, please get with me. I will have them at Lake Apopka. I will have them at Instapoga. I'll have them at the rest of the events. There are some kayak cushion covers for sale. $40 is the price for those. I'll have those as well. Those are literally covers that you can put on to replace the ones that if you have a cushion already, or if you go out and buy a separate cushion, you can replace it and put the FKBT cover. Todd has ordered the shirts. Is there an update on the shirts, Todd?
Looking at sometime next week.
Okay, so we'll get the shirts, and you'll have to. Are they going to be printed then or no?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so they'll be good to go.
Hopefully, everything will be good to go by the event. That's
Okay.
the plan, anyway.
Yep, and then we're gonna post. I showed some of the angler or some of the guys that were out at the event of the hats that we're gonna be that we've worked on. Todd is gonna create like a digital banner or whatever and post our new logos or hats that we're coming up with. I know Robert Phillips just posted that.
I got you, Robert.
We're gonna he'll make a post. The hat orders and everything and the shirt and stuff is all gonna go through Todd from here on out. So whenever he has the images and everything created, he's gonna post it out on Facebook and do pre-orders and orders of everything. So
yeah. I was gonna say one of the guys commented like you guys sign up and bring a friend for sure. Some of you guys have extra kayaks, definitely bring a friend. Let's throw some support towards Van Hunks because they're going to take their time and come out there. Like I'm going to bring up my kids. I'm going to put them on a Van Hunks kayak, if they're out there, and let them paddle them around. So like bring your families.
I'm bringing my wife.
Yeah, I think my wife and kids are coming up. We already have a hotel reserved. I don't know if they're going to come for sure or not, but I may bring my daughter up and make her fish to open also out of a kayak. So
be cool.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, feel free if you do bring your kids. Obviously, like just like if they're under 18, obviously they got to be accompanied by you.
Life jacket, same everything.
Yep. Yeah, same requirements. You just have to be in proximity of yourself as responsible for that child.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. Come on up. I'll be up there. I'll probably crash at Bailey's house the night prior.
Yeah.
If he lets me.
Yeah. You're more than welcome to. Just bring the juice.
The juice.
Yeah, you never know. I live in a trailer park.
Remy will be waiting for
you. Molly Remy will be waiting for you.
Oh, I was gonna ask. I gotta ask Molly if it's all right.
That's what she's doing right now.
Hey, Remy. Remy's my girl.
Yeah, that's my dog. That's my little one. But yeah, that's just if y'all have any questions about the Lake Apopka, what you can and can't do, who you can invite anybody who has an interest in kayak fishing. As long as they have a valid fishing license and they wear a life vest and if their kayaks needs to be registered if it has a motor, just the same requirements that we have in order to fish the events. It's the same. We're sanctioning the event, so it's the same. Make sure they follow all the same rules. and we're just going to go out there and have a good time, have fun. It's not going to be your typical tournament. Launch times and stuff are a little bit different. There's not going to be any early launches. We're all going to kind of launch around the same time and kind of beach our kayaks, and then we're all going to kind of shotgun out, and then we're all going to have to be back by a certain time. Hold on, Mitchell is doing something. What were you doing, Mitchell?
What are you talking about?
Okay, we saw that. He's still in the background. But yeah, if you have
I
any
think-
questions, give us a call or a text. But that's all I got. And then good luck to our ambassador team that's going up there to represent the club. Fantastic. Oh my God, I keep dropping them as he's doing it. So what do you guys got, Sean and Todd? What do you guys have?
Nothing. Shout out to all our sponsors: Kayak Hub, Yak Attack, Kayak Cushion, 13 Fishing, Sticky Fish, New Canoe, Van Hunks, Rogue Fishing, Amped Outdoors, the Quilco Printing, and KBF and Wicked Weights. I don't know if I missed any. Torrent Baits, I think I missed, but yeah, I definitely use most of their products, and they definitely help and make me more fish on the water. You guys doing a great job. I know Torrance reached out to us and saying we're showing a great support to the company. So appreciate it, guys. Keep on supporting those companies, and have a good night and a great week. And hopefully you guys get out on the water this weekend, because I'll definitely be back out there Saturday, probably going solo. So.
Yeah, I know Rogue. We gave away 2 items from Rogue Fishing this past tournament. I think it was Eric Samuels and Paul Roach are the 2 that I'm pretty sure I know we gave away 2 items that they donated to us, and I purchased some stuff from Torn Outdoors, so we'll have those at the next Instapoga event as well. So. If you're at the post-event meetup, you will have some items to possibly win. So keep on supporting those sponsors because they will support us whenever as we support them. So it's a relationship that we got to have with them as well. So we appreciate everything. We appreciate everything that you guys do for the club. The attendance at the events are awesome. We appreciate that, but that all boils down to the participation impacts the payouts. So I think this was Rodman was our lowest registered angler turnout with 27, which I still think that's really good. Our average is still over the 30 angler mark per event, so that's good. That means payouts are upwards over $500 each event, which I think is really good for first place. Third place is still in the $300-400 range, and then second place is in the $300 to $400 range, and third place is over around $200. So very good job with that. We appreciate that. Again, that money, we're not seeing it. That's going back to the anglers. We just take the money that we use for admin fees goes towards the operating costs, checks, StreamYard, QuickBooks. And yeah, that's pretty much all our operating costs, and purchasing baits and stuff from our sponsors. A little bit of that money does go towards kind of offsetting that cost as well, but we don't really have much left over after that's all said and done. So without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So keep on supporting us, supporting our sponsors, and we're gonna have a successful rest of the year. We only have 2 more main stops, right? We have 6 and 7. It's Instapoga and then Tannerock, and then we have Orange for our championship. So it's going to be, a tight race right now between first and second place. I think Conrad's in first for AOI, but Thomas Woodring and Chris Mitchell are close second and third. So it's definitely a close race. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the season unfolds. Top 10 is pretty stacked. So keep up the good work. Finish this season out, finish this trail out, or the rest of this trail out strong. Let's try to break that 40 angler mark at the last 2 events, and then for the championship, let's try to have 50 anglers there. that would be a huge payout. And Robert, Robert's close to. I'm not forgetting about you, Robert. But yeah, the top 5 are within striking distance to Conrad. So keep up the hard work. Finish out the season strong. Let's just try to break that 40 angler mark, or even 50, for registered anglers for the last 2 events, and just all out show out on the championship on Lake Orange, because that fish, the fish in Orange Lake are huge. So, Robert said me and Chris are ride. No, tied. Yeah, you guys are tied. So I didn't have the points in front of me, Robert, so I was just going off of what I remembered on Saturday. But yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. Big shout out to our guys going to Gunnersville. Hope they do well, stay warm, and bring back the trophies.
Yeah, Timothy, is Orange Lake a 2-day event or a 1-day event? Championship, 2-day event. Championship will be a 2-day event. It's $100 entry fee, and we're still going to decide on what we're going to do for Big Bass. What the entry fees will be for Big Bass. Is it going to be $10, 100% payout, or will it be? I think that we're going to keep it at $10 like it has been for the rest of the year, for the whole year to be a $10. But for the Big Bass, how we have it is the lunker. The from stop 1 to stop 7 is where that lunker payout goes into effect. So whoever has caught the overall largest bass will get the lunker pot. And then for the championship, it's 100% payout. So that $10 will go back to the person who catches the biggest fish on day 1, the biggest fish on day 2, and then are the overall big bass. We'll determine that, and post that out before the championship. So if we're going to do a day 1 or day 2, and that'll be a $20 buy-in for day 1 and day 2. We'll figure that out. But
Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
good luck this weekend. If you're fishing, have fun. Be safe out on the water. We'll see you hopefully on the 25th of March on Lake Apopka, for our first open.